Welcome everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you for joining me. So we're going to talk about one of the bands that is credited as having revived and brought mainstream interest back to punk music in the early 90s, and after a 9-year-long wait since their previous album Days Go By in 2012, we finally are getting the brand new Offspring album, Let the Bad Times Roll. This just came out on Friday, April 16th of 2021, but before we go any further and dive into that, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you know someone that would be interested in this video, please share it with them. Help get the word out that way. I would also appreciate it. And by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this, with us taking a look and reviewing the Offspring Let the Bad Times Roll brand new album that just came out on Friday, April 16th of 2021. Now I want to give you guys a little bit of background, a little bit of history on the band before we jump into the review. So the band's origins go all the way back to 1984, but they formally started in 1986, and that's when they chose the band name. It actually comes from a B movie that's called The Offspring, They Were Born to Kill. And they did release their first single, which was a 7-inch in 1986, essentially making this year the 35th anniversary of the band. And prior to their mainstream success, which didn't come until 1994, the band had released 2 full complete studio albums prior to that. Now, it was their third album, Smash, that was in fact a smash hit, selling 6 million copies just in the US alone. And then their fourth album, Ixnay on the Hombre, would sell another 1 million copies. And its follow-up, fifth album, Americana, was another big selling success for them, selling 5 million copies in the US. And then their next 2 albums, while successful, would only sell 1 million and then gold respectively. And 2008's Rise and Fall, Rage and Grace was the first time that they worked with producer Bob Rock. They then worked with him again on the follow-up album, 2012's Days Go By. But now, of course, as I said, it had been 9 years since that album, and it finally brings us to Let the Bad Times Roll, which again, they worked with Bob Rock on. So the recording of this album here starts all the way back in 2013, and it was held up though over those years through tour schedules, lineup changes, legal issues, and then ultimately having to secure a new record deal for the album to be released. The album was completed in 2020, but like so many other artists and albums, it was held up due to the pandemic. The album, in my opinion, has a very classic feel to it, especially with the album opener, This Is Not Utopia, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more in just a bit here. While the core of the album, of course, is punk, they do experiment with things like surf rock, pop, jazz, and even orchestral elements on this one here. They even cover an 1875 composition called In the Hall of the Mountain King. Now that track itself is only 1 minute long, and then the last track on this album, which is just over a minute long, is a reprisal of the first single off the album, Let the Bad Times Roll. So in reality, there is only, of the 12 tracks, 10 actual songs, and then one of those songs is a re-recording of a song from a previous album. So in fact, there's actually only 9 songs on this album, and for me that would be the only thing that I would have an issue with on here. Total running time is 33 minutes long, and I would say I would have loved it to have had more songs and be a bit longer. But other than that, I am enjoying this album very much. Let's talk about the songs on here. So track number 1, This Is Not Utopia, the one that I was talking about, is the great album opener. It's classic Offspring, high energy, angst-ridden song with a really big chanting chorus on it. And then track 2, Let the Bad Times Roll, which was the first single off the album, is typical kitschy, tongue-in-cheek song that has a really catchy style to it. And it's also very high energy, but different than album opener kind of song is. And track 6, Coming For You. Now this song's interesting because it was first released 6 years ago in 2015. So cool that they've included it here. This follows on the hard rock path of the previous albums with a real marching kind of tempo to it. But what I noticed about this song here is that the drum beat and this hey hey chant that they've got going on in it reminds me of Gary Glitter. And take a listen to it, see if you guys think the same thing. Track 10, Hassan Chop. This one here is probably the fastest and heaviest song on the album, and of course every time I hear it, it just makes me want to get up and move around kind of a thing. And then track 11, Gone Away. This one is a beautiful piano lullaby re-recording of the Ixnay on the Hombre song from 1997. So essentially this is like a 25th anniversary edition of that classic song. This is that re-recording I was talking about previously. Let's go ahead and take a look at the album itself. So here's the front cover, and so along with the re-recording of Gone Away from Ixnay on the Hombre, I see a lot of that album art relation between this cover here and Ixnay on the Hombre. I'm not sure if they were attempting to make parallels to that, but kind of interesting, certainly something that us fans that picked up that album originally are going to make those kind of connections on. Here's the back side of it. You can see both of it together, track listing down at the bottom, and then when we flip it around there, you got some cool album art, CD, nothing on the underside, otherwise I'd pop that out. Let me take the booklet out and show you guys that. A little bit better image there of the cover. And then there is specific art to each one of the songs with the lyrics down below. No photos of the guys in here. That's pretty typical though. They don't generally put pictures of themselves in these things, or if they do, it's very minimal. But you do get, as I said, cool little art for each one of the songs and some background on each one of them like that. All right, so bottom line on this, I think big question, was this album worth a 9-year wait? And, with essentially there being one new song for each year we had to wait on it, that's a big thing right there. But I would say yes, in my opinion, it was. It's a classic, strong album. I do highly recommend it for all Offspring fans, but I'd go a step further and actually say I'd recommend this for all pop punk fans to check this album out. I think it's that strong. And so I'd say do yourself a favor, go check this album out. I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised by it, especially if you haven't checked out the Offspring in a long time. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye, everyone.